Togo.
Oh, yes, that's what I want to hear. That's a nice name.
Togo.
Sexy.
Yes, Togo, starring Willem Dafoe. Who I last saw in The Lighthouse. So this is a very different film and a very different performance for Willem Dafoe this time around. This is again a new film, a Disney Plus original, which is available at point of purchase on Tuesday. This is not a remake. It is one of these Disney movies which kind of takes the biopic kind of route, something more like, did you see The Finest Hours, I think a couple of years back?
I didn't, but I am a fan of Chris Pratt. Not Chris Pratt, Chris Pine. Like the tree.
Yes, exactly. That's how I remember it. That was a great movie. Something about a kind of true life event, which is given the kind of Disney treatment. This time around, it's set in 1925 in Alaska. Willem Dafoe plays a dog sledder who is tasked with basically traveling 250 miles across the mountains to get some vaccines for a kind of epidemic which has kind of swept through this small town community and kind of really impacted children specifically. It's a true story. The kind of famously, the dog which is kind of famously remembered for this incident is a dog called Balto. And there's a statue in New York City which is kind of honoring Balto. But this kind of says, well, hang on a minute now, let's forget Balto. The true hero of the movie is Togo. And we've got a little clip for you now.
Intelligence, stamina, courage, and heart.
Run, puppy! Run!
My business is dogs.
He's undersized.
He's trouble.
Well, good afternoon.
He's untrainable.
Stop that! Ah!
What does he bring to the breed?
The heart of a survivor.
He outran every single one of them. He's not a sled dog. He's a lead dog.
What we have in our children is an epidemic. It's a death sentence.
They found a cure.
Round trip is 600 miles. You see that storm on the horizon? Only one man and one dog can make that run.
He's 12 years old. He's too old. He'll never make that distance.
Got one more in you, pup.
My guess is we don't find him till the thaw.
All right, Togo. Time for us to find out who we are.
I always thought he lived for the sled. When all along, what he lived for was me.
Hang up, Togo!
Okay, so that was a trailer there for Togo, now available on Disney Plus. And I kind of like these Disney live action movies which aren't kind of based on films that they've done before. I like dogs, so I like Willem Dafoe, so this kind of all was ticking the boxes for me this time around. I've got to say, I thought again, I felt like this had a bigger budget than Lady and the Tramp, I've got to say. And to be honest, if it was of the two films I watched last night, I'd probably say Togo belonged on a cinema screen, maybe more so than Lady and the Tramp. You know, there are some great set pieces through the movie. There's one particular set piece midway through the movie where they have to kind of run across ice, and the ice is breaking all around them. And I thought that was quite cinematic and deserving, really, of the biggest screen possible. So that's something to be said for it. The opening 20 minutes I thought were terrific. I could not believe how fast paced it was. I checked my watch. I was thinking, wow, we're 20 minutes in, and so far they've kind of gone down one mountain. They've kind of established the plot, and they're off. You know, so I thought, fair play. This is going. You know, this is quite fast paced. Then it did that thing of a flashback. And the film followed that narrative for the rest of the movie, which I think is quite detrimental to it. This whole kind of jumping backwards and forwards in time. I felt like when you've got these great tense action set pieces, suddenly kind of jumping back to, you know, Togo as a puppy kind of takes away from the tension. And I didn't really like that structure. And to be honest, I would have been happy if it had followed a linear structure beginning to end of Togo as a puppy, and then kind of for the first kind of half hour, 45 minutes, and then had the last hour solely be action, you know, and the set pieces and the adventure. I think that would have worked a lot better than jumping back and forth between the two timelines. So the pacing does end up kind of being a bit off for me. I did feel like it started to slow down a lot towards the end, and I was kind of checking how long I had left towards the end. Another thing which is probably not great for it is the fact that we've recently had Call of the Wild, which is very, very similar to this in terms of its style and plot. So that doesn't help, because I've got to say Call of the Wild I thought was absolutely terrific, and this doesn't quite reach those levels of Call of the Wild, although I think you might actually prefer Togo, Dan, because it doesn't have a CGI dog.
Don't
Because
do
I
that.
know-
I think I will, because yeah, dogs should be real. You know, and you know, I'm going to stand by my ground on that film. But there we are. Yes.
Yeah, you know, so it's got a real dog, so that's you know, something to be said for it, and the dog is adorable, especially as a puppy. The relationship between Willem Dafoe and Togo is really lovely, although it does take a while to kind of get to that point towards the end. Look, at the end of it, I thought that was again fine. It probably could have been on the big screen if Disney had chosen to do it. Just in terms of the visuals, I think it's got some strong visuals. I think it's got some good set pieces dotted throughout it. But there are a few pacing issues which do let it down quite a bit. And I kind of left thinking, that's fine. I'm glad I kind of watched it on the telly in a way, you know, and yeah, I can't say again I'm going to be rushing out to go and rewatch it. And I probably will forget about it in about a week or two's time. So perfectly fine. I think it'll work well for an audience, but nothing incredible either.